they make it look so easy that we think greatness is easy. But your greatness, even if you come to the place you realize God has placed God-given talent and potential, genius, greatness inside of you, even that greatness doesn't come easily. It comes through hard work. It comes through diligence, through perseverance. It comes through having resilience. I think one of the problems is our faith language has confused us. Just because you have faith doesn't mean you don't have to have faithfulness. Well, by the way, if you're not average and you're way below average, you've already achieved an extreme of something. So you've already broken the average.
Wow.
Now you just need to flip it on its head.
Wow.
And that's why a lot of times
Oh my God.
people who are really broken become the most powerful people.
Wow.
Because they've already broken the average. They refused to be average, they just went in the wrong direction. See, I think a lot of times the reason we move toward things like drug addiction and alcoholism, the reason we move to crime, the reason we end up in prison, the reason we end up doing things that are really dark and destructive is that we didn't want to be average, but we didn't know how to be great.
Wow.
And that's why when I started reading the scriptures, it was so clear to me. And I would tell people, the only reason you steal is because you don't believe you can create. Because when you can create, you don't need to steal. And I spent 10 years working with the urban poor, and I realized the tragedy here is not that people are stealing, is that they don't understand their creative power.
Wow.
And so what I would say is, like, one of our friends, Emerson Nawatney, he was in prison, I think 5 years for 7+ kilos of cocaine. And he's one of our pastors now and is planting Mosaic Mexico City.
Wow. Thank you.
And, you know, and I look at Emerson and I go, he's a masterpiece because of all the brokenness in his life and how God is bringing it all together. And it's a profound story. And, you know, my kids have had their own journey. You know, my son, you know, he was just sharing his story in Sweden and Denmark and talking about his own running from God, his own pain and brokenness. And there have been times he felt like maybe he had gone too far, was just too broken. And I'm like, no, that's what makes you interesting. You know, the only people I find to be uninteresting are people who have no pain.
Wow.
Because that means you've never cared about anything.
Wow.
And are people who are just trapped in their pain. And because that's all they can talk about. But the most interesting people in the world are the ones who have suffered, who have gone through pain, who have had failure and disappointment, and then found a way to rise above it. Those are to be the people whose stories I love to hear. So I would just say, look, you know, I think a huge part of the problem sometimes in our culture is we have a mythology of greatness. We see people do things so easily, so well. You see Steph Curry play basketball, so it makes it look so easy. Why can't everyone hit three-pointers? You know, we watch people, you watch Oprah, and she's just so natural on television, can just communicate so easily. We watch people, they make it look so easy that we think greatness is easy. But your greatness, even if you come to the place you realize God has placed God-given talent and potential, genius, greatness inside of you, even that greatness doesn't come easily. It comes through hard work. It comes through diligence, through perseverance. It comes through having resilience. I think one of the problems is our faith language has confused us. Just because you have faith doesn't mean you don't have to have faithfulness. Like, the power of the way Jesus works in our life is you have to put your faith in a God who's bigger than you, and then you need to be faithful to what God has placed inside of you. And that's where the power comes when we do that, when we walk in that.
Offer people Jesus in the way that only you can do.
Matt knows I'm always really awkward here, and when he first asked me to do this, I did not want to do it. I felt really uncomfortable. But what ended up happening was I actually had a PhD send me a note saying I am an atheist, and I don't even know why. I was flipping channels and I was watching TBN. I think it was a really painful thing to admit. And they said, I never even thought I would consider God, but in the few minutes that you were talking, I was listening, and something connected with me. And I think a part of the reason God creates us differently is so that we can connect to each other. And I'm not a person that has believed easily. In fact, I'm still in shock that I'm a pastor, and there are moments where I go, I can't believe that I believe. And yet what has happened to me is, to me, unexplainable. For me to say that I have not had an encounter with the creator of the universe, that I haven't come to experience Jesus in a way that is more real to me than life, would be untrue. And so if the goal of moments like this or television is to step into our most authentic self, my most authentic self is I don't know how to see life without Jesus. I don't know how to see reality without God. And one of my friends who's a journalist asked me, what does it feel like to believe in God? And I said, I don't know if you've ever had a great meal or been overwhelmed by something beautiful or heard a song that moved you all the way through. But the only way I can describe coming to know Jesus is that all the colors become more vibrant, all the sounds become more beautiful, all the aromas become more overwhelming. You just experience life so richly and so beautifully. And that's when I get it, that God stepped into human history for us, and his name is Jesus, that he walked among us because he loves us, that he died on the cross for us because God understands the human dilemma. Because you see, the entire universe is created out of God's love. Everything that exists because God is love. And our brokenness, our separation from God, can only be fixed by the ultimate expression of love, and that's sacrifice. So the cross makes sense to me. The death of Jesus makes sense to me because God is a God of love. He designed us for love. He created us for love, and he pursues us with love. And the cross is God's exclamation point that he will not give up on you, that he's pursuing you and loving you, and he sees you and that you matter. And so wherever you are in this moment, if you just happen to step into this moment with me, I want you to know this is not accidental. The timing isn't just curious. That God is trying to find a way to get your attention, to let you know that he sees you, that you matter, that he knows you by name, that he stepped into human history, and that his name is Jesus, and that he is pursuing you. And the difference between all the religions in the world and Jesus is this. Every religion in the world gives us a way where we can try to get to God. But the story of Jesus, the coming of Jesus, is God's way of getting to us.
Thank you, Lord.
And so I just want you to know that it's not that hard. It's really simple. In my life, I just ask people to pray a very simple prayer. It's just one sentence. Jesus, I give you my life. That's it. There's a lot you and God have to talk about that will last forever, but this is where it starts.
Wow.
Jesus, I give you my life.
Wow.
And it's not rocket science. It's love. And love is bigger than knowledge. It's bigger than information. It's bigger than data. If you know that what your soul needs is a love that is unconditional and everlasting, then I want you to know that love is wrapped up in a person. His name is Jesus. And if you would just open up your life to him, he would give his life to you. So maybe just right now, just pray that simple prayer. Jesus, I give you my life. If you'll do that, extraordinary things will happen where you are, wherever you are, even when no one else knows, because God is real and he will hear you and everything will change in your life.
At TBN, our mission is to use every available means to reach as many individuals and families as possible with the life-changing gospel of Jesus Christ.
Thank you for helping make the gospel of grace go around the world.
Without you, we couldn't do it. God bless you.